I think what makes The Who interesting even today, you know, 40 years after we started, there's only two of us left. You look at that old music, what makes us interesting is not so much that the band is particularly interesting, but the time that we started. And a lot of getting The Who is about getting who we used to be, as well as who we are today.
Pete and I are two opposite ends of the globe, if you like, and then sadly John died, and that changed the balance in the band. Now it's very, very different, and we had to come to terms with that.
I remember the great days of lasers on stage with The Who. I used to love all that stuff. I love rock theatre.
Your eye goes to the stage, and we're really in the story, and we're on screen. I like this, and Co likes this better too.
And it does seem that there's a kind of an idea that good, solid, stripped-down rock and roll should work just in a nightclub with, you know, with a pint of beer and a load of smoke. And okay, it probably does, but I also like the storytelling, the circus-like theatrics of rock when you have big screens and lights and special effects.
I think the last tour we did was, I think, was that 2002, the awful tour where John had died and we'd been on, when Pino joined us and we toured. That was difficult. This is different because we've been together a lot longer and there's none of that pressure and the band's really genuine. It's fantastic.
It's just the stuff that should be going on the band that should be going on. I've got a keyboard in my head and a piece of blank sheet music. So if I want to write a tune, I can write it on the sheet music in my brain and then remember it and go back and play it on the keyboard.
There you go. See, I used to do this in 60?
60s, yeah.
And Tom remembered that I used to cut the band's hair when we were on the road. Bastard.
No, it wasn't just that you did it, it was that you were good at it.
I used to have to be good at it. We couldn't afford a bloody barber.
Right.
It was supposed to do a sound check.
We've got an event
Soon.
Been enjoying playing. Not been too tired on this leg, which is good. And it's just like business as usual for The Who, really, I think. It's 2 hours a night, it's great, but the rest of the time, you just got to fill in as you can. Dangerous, very dangerous.
Some songs exist much better in the studio, and when you try and put them on the stage, they become a kind of clumsy thing. Other songs just get on the stage and they take a life. We are going to revisit all the stuff and see if we can reapproach things that we passed over years and years ago. Satan. Oh, and Tom, we're going to put that after listening to you.
Roger, if we could do a set list tomorrow, like a normal show.
All right. Yeah, I'll put something together tonight. That'll keep me up all night. That's my night's sleep gone.
I'm going out to dinner with a friend.
You lucky bastard.
Yeah, I'll watch the telly. Now, if you want to talk about it. Roger's put a show together that I really enjoy. The show seems to flow very, very well. Fans need to know if there was anything about it that I didn't enjoy. I would talk to Roger about it and we would change it. And occasionally I say to him, you know, I'm getting a bit bored with playing this, and he'll go, well, we'll swap it for this. So we're agreed on the shape of the show.
I can't tell you whether I'll be able to sing together good enough. You know, at the end of a show, my voice is a totally different voice than the beginning of the show. And if I can manage it, it would be the perfect world. I'll do the best.
Well, after 40 odd shows, probably we'll be getting there. We'll get to kind of feel how long it takes you.
If I decide I'm going to be really funny, it might even be an hour and a half. I don't think that the function of my work as a writer or my work with The Who has been ever meant to change people's lives or improve people's lives. I think it's a lever. I take you to another level. Hello? You caught me in a corner.
It's got a big smoke screen, you know. It's up to it here.
Justin's come in and asked me how I warm up. So I thought I might let you into the secret. I sit on the bog because it's the only seat they give us in a good place that sounds half reasonable, and I sing the songs that I almost started with, which are Johnny Cash songs, and it just gets the voice nice and low and used to singing, because some nights when I wake up my voice doesn't feel like doing it at all, and some nights when I'm on stage it doesn't feel like doing it at all, and I have to really dig deep some nights, and the garden's getting awful small. There you go, and here am I, gone again. I should have known you'd be the way you've always been. Breaking hearts and telling lies is all you know. When another guy gives you the eye, there you go, you're by his side. You're gonna break another heart, you're gonna tell another lie. And then come back in a while and I'll be still singing Johnny Cash, and it might sound a little bit better.
The more I play with them, the more familiar I get with the songs, and the more I can hopefully stretch out a little bit. But no, it doesn't really change my perspective on the music. You just get used to it, Justin, in the end. But I mean, it is. Occasionally, I do get the feeling of wow, I'm actually playing with The Who. It's still a good thing.
Because for me, it was when I was 6 years old, I was watching The Who, and they were even probably a tiny little club somewhere. But for me, they were huge. They were stars, massive stars then, and they just grew as I got older.
Clear the whole building.
Clear the building. Chin up a bit, please.
I guess, I was doing what I do now in the audience. I was actually playing the guitar, singing all the backing vocals, I guess all I needed was to be put on the stage and wired up, and I was away.
Stay there.
Please feel free when you go around to introduce yourself so I get their names right. And ladies and gentlemen, Pete Townshend.
Hi, very nice to meet you. We're with RXR in Chattanooga.
Chattanooga. We've been there.
You've been to Chattanooga?
Yeah, we played there, Chattanooga.
Really?
Yeah, in '67.
1960.
Yeah, way before your time.
So in the end, just bigger amplifiers, bigger amplifiers. That's kind of how our sounds.
Thanks.
By the time the cold kicks in, we'll be off the road too. So.
Hope you guys have a good
Have a great show.
You stole that.
Rock and roll, Zach.
I haven't been sitting trying to write songs for The Who. I've just been writing songs.
There's a depth to his writing that I feel has something to say today. And it doesn't matter that it's taken 25 years, however long it takes, as long as it's good. And it is good.
When I sit down to write a song today, I still do the same thing. I scribble on a piece of paper or I fiddle around with the guitar and suddenly there's a song there. I don't sit down and say, I must write a Who hit. It's great to see new faces in the crowd. Obviously, I don't know all the people in America by name and by face. I mean people that are obviously seeing The Who for the first time. And not just because they're young, but you can sense, you can see when people are seeing The Who for the first time, and that they're getting it. I think it's easy to just dismiss my processes as being, you know, in a sense, you know, self-indulgent or arty-farty or unnecessary.
If you want a phrase, they've got the Townsend magic.
Fine, I can't really help you with my work. if somebody comes up and says, you know, your music changed my life, you go, thanks. I'm saying thanks, but what am I thanking them for? My music changed their life. Did it change it to the better? It's such a weird concept.
Joey, smile.
That's worth lots of money.
I have been using these mics for a long time, I mean a long time, and I've abused these mics like they never ever deserved to be abused.
We've done some bad things.
Yeah, the damage. Can you see the damage?
We've done some bad things.
Can you see the damage here? But we survived, right? Yes. Okay.
So far.
So far.
The weird period for us, for Roger and me, I think, with My Generation, was the middle period. We actually stopped playing My Generation for a while when we felt that we were too old to be playing it. And now it's so obvious that we're too old to be playing, in a sense, not just My Generation, but any rock and roll at all. It becomes kind of academic whether or not we sing, you know, I hope I die before I get old, because patently we haven't died before we got old. We are old and we're not dead. When I'm on the stage with Roger, I think of John and Keith every few minutes, I think, you know, possibly even more often than that. They are evoked very often on the stage, for obvious reasons. Pino doesn't do a lot of the things that John used to do. Zach does wonderful momentary emulations of Keith, so you often miss him. The next day, we had to wheel Keith in a wheelchair, and he's coming out of the airport, and I go up to him with his camera and I go, come on Keith, come on Keith, say something you little f***. Go on, say something about last night, you little f***. It's sound, say something you little f***. And he's sitting there like that, and he went, help. In fact, when Keith died, it was because of that. He always used to take pills in handfuls. Didn't matter what it was. If he had a headache and there was aspirin, he'd have a handful, and he felt that he was impervious to any medication.
I tip my head to the new Constitution, take a bow for the new revolution, shine green with the jeans all around, beat on my guitar and play, just like yesterday, then I'll get on my knees and I'll pray. We don't get fooled again.
Because that what's sad about that is that he was actually completely clean and sober and had been for about 3 months. And every night he used to call me up and say, you're doing good, I love you, you're really good. We never played or anything, we never played. So I kind of got the feeling I was getting close to him, and then he was gone. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. The audiences have been fantastic. It's great to have some new music to play, and it feels good. It feels good.
At the theater with me, we did it all, didn't we? Jumped every wall, instinctively.